Okay, 8th grade, I'm going to try to make Lab 14 as painless as I can for you. I'm going to do the lab part and demonstrate that for you, so therefore you have an easier time filling out this worksheet and sending me a picture of it completely filled in. So let's get started. So in the first situation, we are trying to test the difference between a thick wire and a thin wire to see which one will light up a bulb brighter or create the least amount of resistance. I wonder what your hypothesis would be. Which one do you think is going to make the light bulb light up brighter? Okay, so our first step is just to make sure our contraption is actually working, and it is if I squeeze those bulbs or cells together. So I'm going to start with the thick wire first. And I hope when you're thinking to yourself, which is going to be the easiest for electrons to flow through, and it's going to be like thinking about a line at, any line you go through. It's easier to go through a line if there's more room, and there's more room in this thick wire, so it should show that the bulb lights up brighter in this thick wire. And you can see it's lit up pretty strongly there, and I've got my connections there with the wire. I'm trying to make it so you can see it all together. There you go. Okay, and now as you see, as I'm going through this thin wire, it does not shine as brightly, and I just have it connected up through the thin wire. So as you can see, now I have it connected between the thin wires, this little strand of wool, steel wool, and the bulb does not light up as bright as it did when I did it through the thick wire. Oop, now I gotta push the batteries back together. Much brighter with the thick wire. So now let's get to the worksheet. All right, so take out Lab 14 and let's get started. Okay, so number 4 says pass electrons through the thick paper clip and thin steel wool. And we did it through the thick aluminum foil and the thin steel wool. And compare how bright the bulb shines. And we determined that the bulb shines brighter with the thick paper clip, or in our case, the thick aluminum foil wire. And we saw that it shined dimly in this thin wire, the steel wool over there. So shines brighter, we will say it shined brighter with the thick wire. So thus it shined dimmer with the opposite of that, the thin wire. Holds back flow of electrons. Well, which one is making it hard for the electrons to flow through and thus not lighting your light bulb brightly? Well, that would be the thin wire. So the next one, allowing electrons to flow, is going to be thick, because there's a lot of room for those electrons to move through easily. Has low resistance. I always, for the word resistance, I put flow, or holding back the flow. So which one has a low holding back the flow? So basically, which one allows electrons to flow through easily? That would be the thick wire. It is not very resistant. It is not holding back the flow. Which one is holding back the flow with the high resistance? That would be the thin wires. Number 5. Pass electrons through the steel wool for a long distance and a short distance, and compare how bright the bulb shines. Now, I didn't do this one with you, but we can use our own common sense to figure out which one is it going to be easier to flow through. Is it going to be easiest to flow through a long wire or a short wire? Well, a lot of times when you're asking me for help with labs, I'm saying shorten up the wire so they don't have to work as hard to get through all the ribbon. So the shorter you can keep the wires, the easier it is. It's the shorter distance they have to go through. So you want really fast electricity, a fast electron flow, you want fat, short wires, and that allows electrons to move through very quickly. So I'm going to tell you that the one that's going to shine brighter in this instance is going to be the short wires. That is going to be your brightest situation. And so from there, now that you have that answer, you should be able to fill in the rest of number 5 without my help. And you'll need to complete number 6. And be careful there, it says name 2 ways. So basically, number 6, resistance in a wire increases, or so if we're talking about high resistance, we're talking about it really holds back the flow or it's the hardest to get through. So your answer should be either long or short wires or fat or skinny wires. So make sure you put both ways for box 1, and then the right hand box, resistance in a wire decreases, or it makes it very easy to get through, fat or skinny wires, or short or long wires. So make sure you name 2 ways in each box for a good grade. So once you have the entire lab complete, please send a picture of it to my email at fabian@calvaryknights5.org or text it to me, 317-402-2832. Have a good day, kids. Heading down the home stretch.